All right, so that just happened, didn't it? Again, I have no idea how game 2 is going to top this, but I'm ready to find out. So, gentlemen, I will hand it back over to you, and we'll get this going shortly.
Great. And what do we think about the first race?
Oh, sorry, was that my cue to start? Yeah, races. Sorry, I was zoned out a little bit.
No worries.
Race 1 was a brilliant showcase of how tight these races can be, and like the first half, I'd say like one runner was always at least a minute or so ahead, but the second half we really didn't see any major mistakes, and that led to a really intense second half.
Yeah,
I'm curious what we'll see with the if we'll see like the differences between the route better this run.
I think nerves played a little bit of role early on, but both runners definitely settled down a little bit after plateau and getting into the Naboris section. So I'm expecting both of them to have much more true to form plateaus this time, and maybe a bit cleaner sections here and there. But overall, 137, pretty good race time for both of them. That's a pretty average time for what we've seen for a lot of these bracket races.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't been keeping up too much, but I didn't see too many major mistakes, and I don't think the start of the runs weren't great for either runner, but I don't think anyone will be too devastated with the run as a whole.
Mm-hmm. All right, once again, anyone who missed the first race were in Italian. It saves some time on some cutscenes, unskippable cutscenes, and voice acting. And things are going to be moving pretty quick, glitch wise, as we get into the first couple segments of Plateau. And then things are going to get kind of moving even quicker once we leave Plateau. We're going to be really hacking into the game's code with the inventory slot transfer glitch.
Yeah, exactly.
So, first roadblock, as always, is the SOR clip, which Tapir had a very nice one first race. We'll see what kind of luck he gets this time around, and if Smich can tighten up some of his execution as well.
Yeah, I'm curious how many adaptation changes. The thing about dungeons is there isn't too much you do improvising because a lot of it is very strict routing stuff.
Yeah.
But I wonder if we'll see things like maybe Tapir opting to save his last Fury just in case things go wrong. I wouldn't blame him if he decided not to, but yeah, it's curious to see what decision makings will change.
Yeah. Maybe a little bit tighter on some of the decisions, maybe taking a few less risks here and there.
Ti guiderà dopo il risveglio dal tuo lungo sonno.
So same deal. They're going to be using the scope function on the Sheikah slate to push themselves through a wall. It's a pretty precise setup, but there are multiple setups that work. And both of these runners tend to look away from the wall and wait to see kind of a bounce in the camera as he's running into the corner. Smich didn't quite have it, and Tapir got a fairly quick one, and Smich right behind him.
Yeah, pretty similar to the last run, basically.
Yeah.
Tapir, he's going to be looking to grab the spear this time. That was the start of his issues last run.
And the thing we didn't mention earlier is this game is a bit unusual compared to most other video games. Each wall has collision on both sides, so clipping back inbound isn't quite as easy as just run forward. They have to kind of like find a specific spot and wedge themselves into it,
exactly.
and then stand up.
You see that sort of clip back inbounds like we do for the third shrine, Stasis Shrine, where if Link can crouch and then step up and that pushes him through the floor, then that's a good way to clip back inbounds. Yeah. But a lot of the time, you'll just have to use your skew to go back through the wall. And there's some weird scenarios like the Eager Hideout.
So Smich had an issue getting the spear, kind of the same thing that happened to Tapir in the first race, which happened because he went to get all 6 chilies at the initial approach, and that wasted a little time, so he's fixing it by saving and reloading, which those guys just reset to their original position, gets his weapon, grabs the mushrooms, and gets on out of there. So maybe a bit cooler head decision compared to what Tapir did in the first race, going after the act.
Yeah, I don't know which one's much quicker, but both of them you're losing probably 20 seconds at least.
Then we're using a skew clip to get through the wall of the Temple of Time, and whistle sprinting to get the Bokoblin to run around the other side and get him out of the way.
Yeah, exactly. The big thing I think I prefer over what Smich did to what Tapir did is pulling this Bokoblin away from the pots and like just this section here is really important, and you saw Tapir had a lot of issues last time because there was a Bokoblin on top of him whilst he was trying to set up the slide.
Mm-hmm.
And also you don't have to reset skew, so that's another small thing that's beneficial.
Yeah, it's a little thing that we don't really understand why it works, but so this BLSS trick is confusing a couple glitches of hold smuggling and B lock, but for whatever reason, the first time you draw an arrow, it looks a little different than normal. So what they do to fix it is a shield jump in place and unequip the shield, and that fixes it for whatever reason, so they can get on their way. But that's why you saw Smich kind of hesitating with the pot before picking it up.
Yeah, it's not one of those things in this game where you just kind of accept it works.
Yeah.
It makes the skew nicer as well. No one knows why, it just does.
Yeah. We encountered the problem. It has an easy fix, and we're happy to not think about it too hard. So Smich going for the gamer, or not Smich, Tapir going for the gamer wind bomb again and getting a very nice one. Very nice. And you'll see some of the time save there. Like that's, I want to say it's about a 10-second time save over the normal wind bomb that I think Smich is about to do. Yeah. Which, no shame whatsoever. It's a lot safer, a lot less risk of dying. It is slower, but you don't encounter the huge time loss of dying or eating some of your early game food. So no problem whatsoever.
Yeah, Tapir again with a slight lead going into the second. Wait, no. Tapir this time with a slight lead going into the second split.
Yep.
Yeah, slightly better start for him, mostly because of Smich's reload, but yeah.
And that can shift here. So a thing they'll do, is they're going to reset their skew angle for the clip into Magnesis, which also carries on to Stasis as well. But if the clip isn't very clean for Tapir, then Smich can maybe get a bit of an advantage. So Tapir gliding a little bit too far and doing a damage protect on his shield, because we not only need the shield to survive, but we need it to transfer its durability onto the
Exactly.
item later, so we got to keep it. And it's kind of a funny thing. Like it's definitely a glitch or an oversight, but if you are gonna bonk your shield on something and you just quickly unequip and equip it, it doesn't count for whatever reason. So
yeah, it's like whilst you're pulling the shield out, it's like immune to it for a little bit of time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really useful if you like make a mistake. Like let's say you lose your skew entering Temple of Time and you have to reset it, that's an extra shield hit. You can only really take 6 unprotected hits through the run, so
yeah,
it kind of nullifies that disadvantage you would have.
All right, so small difference in routing is you'll see Smich getting the ruby here.
Does he just sell the ruby when he's doing IST? I didn't see when he used it last time. Does he sell it at Gerudo Town?
He does sell it at Rito, yeah. And it the arrow count is what transfers onto the rubies, so you get 8 rubies. Oh, hold on. Tapir is resetting his game. What happened?
I didn't see it. Did you get a freeze?
Maybe. And
I'd say that's pretty tragic, because I put him back to the start of the shrine.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't close game between runs, so his IST would have been active.
Oh.
I wonder if Smich did it.
I believe so. That's unusual. What does this mean exactly?
I think this is something we need to work out with the runners, because I feel like Tapir needs to reset right now.
Yeah.
Is Cub still present?
Yeah, he can't do anything about that except start over.
Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna have to turn this over to
Smich looked like he's aware, and I think they're just gonna go for a restart, but I don't want to put words into their mouth. We will hear shortly.
Yeah, we'll let the runners decide, and maybe Cubs make a ruling on what should be happening here. Yeah, so what's going on here is we do a trick called inventory slot transfer, and it'll persist until you close the game again. Like the slots that you break continue until you close the game. So anytime you reload, it'll start duplicating things. So that's why you see he has a weird number of orbs in his inventory, and also the champion's ability for some reason. So yeah, that's too bad.
We are gonna restart this race. Just give us
Okay.
a couple minutes. Yeah,
Okay.
getting it going right now.
Sounds great.
And Smich is behind, so if anything, this plays into his favor. It's just very unfortunate that it happened to Tapir.
Oh, I'm gonna start a conspiracy theory that Smich convinced Tapir not to reset his game on purpose.
See, that's rough. That'd be rough, because then if you do start ahead and you have to reset, it's like, well, I did that to myself.
Smich trick game 1 from a calamity fight difference.
Yeah, it was literally down to a wire.
All right, so we are resetting this race because we'll call it a false start. How about that? But yeah, that unfortunate error would make continuing kind of impossible. Tapir would have to do some pretty strange workaround with his inventory to make sure that his IST segment worked the next time around, but I'm not really sure what would happen if you have the champion's abilities in your inventory and then get them again, because they don't duplicate. I don't know. Either way, a lot easier to just start over. So anyway, just give us a couple minutes and we'll get this going in the correct order, which actually is fine because it looked like we were having some syncing errors with Smitch's stream as well. So maybe that'll give us a fresh slate to make sure that we're
hopefully it'll sort itself out.
Yeah, he went ahead and rebooted his OBS. That should take care of that.
There you
Perfect.
go.
Restart now. I'll leave it to you two, and we'll get this back going.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you. Alright, yeah, we see the timer started. Hang on, I'm refreshing mine.
Me too.
Okay, whatever. They started at the same time, so it's whatever. But I think there's a slight desync between their start time and what we see.
Right, so I got a message here, kind of like alluding to something I was talking about earlier. So I was talking about the sentries in Yonobo Escort. They have an HP of 1,000, but apparently bombs have a 50-time multiplier in damage against them for some reason.
Yeah, I guess
So-
it's just so you can destroy them with bombs, because that's
Yeah.
one way you would do it casually.
So they do 600 damage each on sentries. That's fun.
Probably going to
That's a
see
lot of
Time Warp
damage.
here for a second. Don't worry about it. It's fine. It's fine. Nothing's
Alright.
on fire.
That's fine. Everything is under control.
All right, back again. We're in Italian. We're in the Shrine of Resurrection. Nobody is duplicating weird things, and we're off again.
Exactly. For our second race, not our third one.
Quella è una tavoletta sceicca. Ti guiderà dopo il risveglio dal tuo lungo sonno.
All right, so this gives a Smich another chance to get a nice SOR clip, which
One day he will get out of SOR first.
he's due. He has it coming. All right, so this is a clip that you can use in some other parts of the game too. There are a couple shrines where this can be used, but it's generally a pretty like location specific, and this is a convenient one where I think when it was first discovered it was possible. People used to like push a box just outside the chamber into a specific spot and try and clip in back behind that, but someone, I'm not sure who, found a much quicker and easier setup to doing that.
Yeah. I don't know if it was SVA or if we just had a video on it, but that's the name that comes to my head.
Could be. All right, so Smich opting again to get all 6 chilies
Yeah,
now.
it does make this slightly riskier. Thankfully, one of the Bocos isn't moving at all, so we should be perfectly fine.
Oh, very
Yeah.
close. But
Closer than you would like it to be, but you got away with it.
yeah, they both got him.
And I will slightly optimize this line here as well, because you're not doubling back quite as much.
And that's definitely race safety right there from Tapir.
Yeah, exactly. Like you can see the difference, but it's not the hugest amount.
Normal PB attempts, what you would try to do is just pick up 3 peppers and 3 mushrooms, because that's your inventory slot scrap total that you need for breaking our slots. But both of them getting the steak and getting extra food just to make sure that if a tragedy does happen, they're not stuck.
Yeah,
trying to make
exactly.
up for it.
Because once you get the fairies, you don't have to worry about health, but the first 20 minutes of run, you still need to be a little bit mindful.
Yeah.
Because if you drop, like, let's say 2 wind bombs, then you're suddenly, like, you need to be careful because you don't want to get IST food.
Alright, both of them getting a nice step up here. Good clip. And we didn't talk much about fall damage cancels, but it's one of the older tricks that's been around in Breath of the Wild, most notably to get off the Great Plateau Tower without dying. But I guess just throwing a weapon and unequipping one of your items at the same time confuses the game on where you fell from, and you don't die.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the reason we needed to see Tapir get this axe at the start of the last run, because you need a weapon to perform a full damage cancel.
And any weapon will do. A 2-end weapon is easiest because the frame window is pretty large. Spears are not too bad, and one-handed weapons probably have like a 3 or 4 frame window. It's pretty tight. I don't know if anyone's bothered to count, but it's definitely a lot trickier. So spear is the weapon of choice for all dungeons or any percent runs, especially since they use it for a little boulder ride later, and doing it with a one-handed weapon I don't.
Yeah, exactly. It's
think
smaller
will-
and more precise hits, basically, because each spear hit is like less powerful.
Mhm.
Smich getting his line slightly wrong. You should still be able to push it. I think he's better off just dropping the BLSS. Does up to keep it though.
Yeah.
And he does pull it around eventually. Slightly unfortunate for him though. That does put Tapir slightly ahead again.
But a lot closer than the last race, which is good news for Smich. Which again, feeding the conspiracy theory. And after this, they're going to both skip the tower, just like the first time. And this is just a small optimization, but you'll see every runner of this game do this. You want to pick the second, first, and second options on this dialogue. It saves, a minor amount of time, but it is
Exactly, but it's those things you might as well be doing.
Yeah, it doesn't save time or doesn't lose time to go forward. It saves text boxes here and there, so it's worth it.
Yeah. So sometimes your brand's an autopilot, you'll just go like 111, but it's like it's whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Here's slide, gets a nice initial angle. Gonna skip the tower like last run. And yeah, we'll see how his clip goes. Interestingly, we see Tapir go for the newer skew setup, whilst Smich goes for the old one.
I kind of prefer the one that Smich is doing. The skew that they get here is important for this clip, but it's much more important for the stasis one, because the angle is just kind of wonky.
Smich should hit the floor there, I think. I wonder if that's going to mess with the skew.
Could be.
We'll see. If we don't land on... Yeah.
That could have been the issue we had on the first run or the previous attempt.
Yeah, I don't think he's resetting his skew properly.
Okay.
Gets it eventually.
So we'll
and then gets
see.
in. Tapir has pulled pretty clear though, you were saying?
I'm slightly worried for Smich that skew won't work for stasis, but we'll see. I'm not as familiar.
Yeah, exactly. It may cost him another 10 seconds, failing a clip and then having to reset skew.
Yeah.
Tapir, Canal Wind Bomb. Tapir's done a lot of like any percent since all the new stuff's been done, so he's very comfortable with these wind bombs.
Yeah, and that's a pretty precise one. It looks not too dissimilar from other wind bombs, but it's pretty precise.
Exactly. There's a lot of things with wind bombs. You need to make sure you don't push yourself too far left, or you can like get stuck in little cubbies. You gotta not go too high, or else you can die to the full damage. Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah. And it's also quite a precise area you're shooting it from. I assume we'll see Smich go for the same one as last run. And again, maybe not. He might have to play it safe this run. Nope. Looks like he will go for it again. That looks okay. Gets a really nice landing spot.
Well,
I think he'll be happy with that.
Glad he took no damage.
I need to do a check on who's further ahead at some point. Well, I know he's further ahead, but how much the gap is. And yeah, Tapir once again with a very nice line, sort of pushing himself around that corner. Lands by the apples again. Curious if he'll do it the same way. Okay, so he throws a bomb this time so it doesn't hit the apples, so he's just able to grab the 2 apples.
I only got 2 wood here too, which...
So lots to take another. He gets all 3 apples actually, which I guess is at worst an extra bit of bonus food.
Yeah.
One bomb up. He had issue with the first one last time, but gets it cleanly this time. Very nicely done from Tapir. That was a very nice split. Smich once again goes for his hyper aggressive angle, but it works out for him again. The angle freaks me out, dude. I can't believe he does that.
Yeah, and a thing that can happen sometimes is you get kind of stuck climbing that little slope and just stop. So you have to be kind of careful on how you approach it.
Yeah, the key thing is making sure A, you don't get caught on one of those little bits of terrain because you can just get hooked in and it's you have to run up and it can cost you like 20 seconds. And the other thing is making sure you have enough speed because if you lose all your speed, whilst it doesn't kill it, you lose, like, you have to re-speed up. If you go into that ledge with enough speed, then you continue with your speed and you say, I've said that word a lot. I'm just going to stop talking.
That's all right.
How many times can I say speed in one sentence? But yeah, if you lose your momentum and have to rebuild it, then you lose like an extra 20 seconds to what you need to in that section.
Exactly.
Tapir, once again, there's no way. Okay.
No way. Okay.
Game overs. That is actually quite unfortunate. I think he took damage bunking
The wall.
the edge of the shrine, yeah.
Oh my gosh. It looked like he almost got the same.
Yeah, he almost got the
incredible-
exact same. If he'd got that twice in a row, I'd have to like check his console.
Do you have the cheats on? What else didn't you turn off?
Did Smich fix his ragdoll? He did.
Oh no.
What is happening? Why is everyone getting that angle? He's got it again.
Oh no.
As long as you're in ragdoll, when you fall out of bounds, you don't take the heart of damage, but yeah. Smich can opt to go for it again if he's confident.
I think
Wait, no, it's Tapir, sorry.
I think it could be an initial angle issue, and yeah. I go for this one in these kinds of categories, these shorter categories, but it's a tricky wind bomb, and you know, if you fail it.
Yeah, this is the one I actually go for sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Both runners having issues with it today, though. There's like 3 main bits of this one. It's the timing of the bombs, especially the first bomb. If the first bomb's too early, then you can get launched awkwardly to the side, or it'll just flop you.
Mm-hmm.
And then also making sure you turn the right amount.
And initial angle, timing of detonation.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a big muscle memory wind bomb. Like you can't just do your normal thing.
You can't normalize it like you do most other tricks as well.
Yeah.
With that, Smich pulls slightly ahead, because although he had issues, Tapir had slightly more. Drops an arrow, I think that's fine in this run.
Yeah, it that arrow count just applies to rubies later, and you can get safety normals from Teba.
Smich having issues with his initial launch angle, loses him a bit of time, but he does still have a slight lead. And Tapir this time knocking the boulder out the way means he will close the gap a tiny bit. I love Tapir's boulder ride, dude. It's very precise.
Going for that extended shield clip. And wrong frame for Smich first try, but nice.
It's a second try, yeah. That's the thing with ESE. Whilst you can fail it, unless you fail it like 6 or 7 times, you'll still likely be saving time over normal clip.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you have what Tapir had, where you lose your skew. I think he had the frame though. I'm surprised he didn't go for that. He gets it again. That was a very nice unbuffered ESCs. He got the timing like 3 times in a row. I don't see what happened in the first one, but
I think the first one he got popped back out, which in those circumstances there could be a couple things wrong, but it's better to just try to reset your skew again and try again. Yeah, it's a hard thing to diagnose in the moment because, for lack of a better explanation, it's just wrong. So just trying again is your best idea instead of just trying to force the trick to work for you.
yeah, so this time Smich actually lands on top, which is... It's fine, but it's a bit more optimal if you land on that little low ground.
Yeah, second or 2 time loss.
Precisely. These are still much quicker plateaus than last time, though, even with the issues we saw inside of stasis.
Yeah. Alright, so pretty good distance here.
And yeah, I think Smich might even hit the 14-minute plat. I might be slightly wrong on that. 14-minute RTA, that is.
Yeah. So we in Breath of the Wild we start our timer on control, not on new game, because the intro cutscene loads can be a bit variant on time. So to kind of normalize it, we do a small offset and press start right as we click skip cutscene.
That's a slight aside, actually. I saw there was like a discussion about having to restart the game between runs because of like preloading stuff. Has that reached any like conclusion?
It is instituted. So
you do have to do it.
Any submitted runs have to start with the game closed on the Switch home screen.
Interesting. Does that invalidate old runs, or are we just accepting that because that might make some runs harder to beat?
Yeah, retroactively, it would be too hard to like redo.
Yeah, that was my concern with it when I saw the vote, but
yeah, so they're just keeping them and now going forward. That's the rule.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right, so both got plateau done. Smich, I think, does sneak.
That is a 14-minute plat, yeah.
Yeah, 14:58 or so. Not bad, not bad. Especially with the failed stasis, that's very acceptable. So they both need to go ahead and collect the Boko Club, which necessary component of inventory slot transfer is having a one-handed weapon. And then we're gonna make our way to Castle. And I'm gonna try to watch Tapir's his stream a bit closer because he's doing a slightly different IST setup.
Yeah, he did say that it wasn't actually meant to be slower. It was just he had issues with it last run.
Yeah.
He would mix up in his menus, but that's not a massive amount of time lost. But yeah, these runs are like 2 minutes ahead of previous ones, which is a massive difference. Tapir playing slightly closer to the speed cap.
Yeah, he's got to be a little careful there.
When you see the trail moving away from Link, that's when you know you're like right on the speed cap. And then you want to speed up again about when it gets stationary. But you got to be careful when you do it like that, which is why you see a lot of runners let it go slightly so the trail pushes the other way and then they push it back to when it's about stationary.
And same world load manip here and getting the inventory set up.
And you see how much time Tapir saved there. They're neck on neck now, despite Smich leaving like 10 seconds earlier. That's how much that small bit of speed difference can be, as well as a slight world load beneficiary.
Right.
Are they both digital? I don't know if that's a factor.
I would be shocked if they both weren't running on digital. I don't know if it really affects overworld loads as you're moving. It definitely affects shrine loads. But yeah, I'm sure both of them do digital. I'd be kind of shocked if they weren't.
Yeah, fair enough.
Right, so Tapir going the other direction to get his shock arrows, and Smich going up to this pillar for his BLSS setup.
That's much nicer for Smich. Last time he had issues with his D-pad, but this time, not having that. Having a little issue with stamina, it's going to take him like another 15 seconds to climb up here.
That's too bad. So here's some of the time difference in the routing that can come into play. Probably sacrificing a good 10-15 seconds optimally to coming over to getting this chest and then setting it back up again. Plus you need to get a bit extra food as well because you're doing more wind bombs.
Yeah, precisely. So see the runners heading to the fairy fountain again. You kind of have to because this is, where you get the fairies you dupe. There's no better place to get them.
Oh no, Tapir. That's alright.
What happened there? Did he drop his...
Yeah, his stick went neutral.
Oh, okay.
It's actually a very good spot for that to happen because now he can just do one from here. So
he did get a scuffed midair, but it landed him perfectly on the pillar, so that's worked out for him. Right. I'm a bit worried about the amount of extra wind bombs he's had to do for his health, but
yeah,
I assume there's like fodder materials you can use.
As far as worst case scenarios go, that was not so bad.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you didn't get a death or anything.
And he was at a good spot to just reset the BLSS.
Precisely.
Smich making sure that his inventory looks okay.
He did lose a fairy. I think that's fine, isn't it?
Yes. Well, no,
Cool.
you need 2 fairies, so he picked up 3.
Okay, yeah, because I saw he popped one.
Yeah.
Interestingly, he doesn't opt for the slide here. I think he did last run.
I think he did. I don't remember what issue.
That's a good sleeper, though.
happened.
The issue last time was he bounced off, but he did save it quite well.
Yeah.
It's a bit trickier because you don't have much height. You're like right on the same level as where you want to land, so you can't really just glide down. I think it would have been a bit quicker still for him to slide it, but this means he'll guaranteed land like right on the Elder Rito.
Yeah. It's a nice backup midair super launch there from Smich.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're picking up the Royal Claymore, which is important both for the run and for the IST segment. Here, opting for the slide. World records, both Player 5 and ZDI do a super launch, so this could just be preference, and it seems like kind of a crappy step up.
Yeah.
So.
Tapir had issues with it last run as well, where he ended up building beneath the platform and had to climb up.
Mm-hmm.
And, you would expect Smith to have a slight lead at this point, so I think the time loss is pretty much equal out.
Right.
Smith probably had a slightly better one because of the stuff Tapir had with the slide, but yeah, you were saying?
No, I was going to move on to the IST and try to fumble and pick my way through that explanation again. But yeah, we're going to corrupt our inventory here. Smich is going to be trying to get 4,000 ancient arrows and a few hundred fairies and 8 rubies, and Tapir is going to be getting 4,000 ancient arrows, I think the same number of shock arrows and fairies instead, because he's going to be doing the clothes skip route, not getting the Vi armor. So their execution of this glitch is going to be roughly the same, but their inventory is going to look different. Important part is Smich making sure to do a hard save before this, because that saves this inventory in the system memory, and then dropping some items on the ground to save them for a moment later, and then talking to the shopkeeper with items stuck to his hand. As long as that ruby is grayed out when he talks to the shopkeeper, the glitch is working.
Oh, okay.
So
is that a visual cue for it?
Yeah, it's just a check item, just to make sure that everything is working fine.
Huh. Is there a backup if it's not grey? Do you just drop it and try it again?
Yeah, you just drop and try again.
Right, I guess that's why I wanted to pay last run. Because back in my day, the only way you'd know if you messed up was back in my day.
When you reloaded,
you finish and then you just have like 5 claymores or something. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we're dropping our items, picking them back up, unequipping, and reloading. All right, so Tapir is doing the same thing. That looked weird. Okay, so he has to do it again.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Smitches looks like it's gone fine. Shoots his arrow, and he should have a pretty sizable lead going into Meadow. And it's not like Tapir was doing fastest routes at Meadow, so he could hold a lead until the routes conglomerate again.
Mm-hmm. It looks like a check item for Tapir is the fairy instead.
Oh, so he sells 8 rupees. Oh, 8 rubies there. I see.
Yeah, from just selling these items. Okay, so yeah, it's... Oh, it failed. So we gotta try again. Yeah, Tapir is having some issues. So this input is kind of weird. You kind of... like because you're in this weird hold smuggling state, you have to press ZR to take out the bow and A immediately after. I've heard it's frame perfect. I don't know how true that is, but it's definitely a very tiny frame window to still have the items held and smuggled and and speak to the shopkeeper. So Tapir having some issues with that and allowing Smich to pull ahead a bit. Smich accidentally
He
using...
uses a normal arrow. He needs to back that up because you need a normal arrow for Redania.
Yeah.
You get some in here, don't you?
He could grab these if he's feeling a little bit uneasy about that. He could get the backups in Yiga Hide It too.
Yeah, that's true. That's the easiest backup.
Yeah.
See what he does. He does opt to skip it for now.
Mm-hmm. So hopefully,
And actually, there are just some in Redania, so it's not the end of the world if he messes it up.
No.
Tapir having a scuffed Wimbon. It has decent speed, he just loses the height, so we might have to climb up the ladder at the end. Oh no, he's actually too far right, so you'll go back up midder. Which again, health isn't a resource anymore, it's just the stamina and speed that he needs to worry about.
Yeah. And
use the updraft to push him up to the end.
Somewhat lesser known soft lock there. If you drop before Teba actually loads in, you'll soft lock the game, so you got to be a little bit careful there. And also, sometimes this game just fails. Like, you start the game and he says you failed right away. And I don't know if anyone quite understands why that happens. It kind of has something to do with how quickly you get into the game, but taking your time here is prudent for a couple reasons. Smich using his long-range bow, falcon bow, to take these out. When he missed one of them. And missed again.
Yeah, tiny bit off to the right. This last shot can be slightly awkward to back up because I don't think Meadow turns it like a consistent rate.
Yeah, he's kind of like spinning counterclockwise for whatever
Yeah,
reason.
exactly.
So you got to aim much higher than you think and a bit to the left. It's an obnoxious one.
Yeah, not the biggest deal to miss compared to like other things you can miss, but it's another bit of time loss, which Tapir will not be complaining about.
Nope. And I wonder, since Tapir had some issues yet again with his IST, if he's going to maybe take a couple more risks inside of Meadow. But at this stage of the race, it might be a good idea to just keep playing it safe. Nice midair there from Tapir. Okay, nice job. Smich going with the safer path.
I think this is just what he does.
Yeah. There's a BLSS you can do, which is a bit hard to steer and get going and at the right height. But this is just fine. And we set skew on this slope here because it gives kind of a weak skew, which is what you need for an ESC.
Yeah, exactly. And that rope is very that ramp is very consistent as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very weak skew. I think he had the frame there. He just didn't recognize it. He gets it again there.
Oh.
Something's off of his skew, but...
Yeah, I think the skew is not quite...
No, he does get it. Yeah, I was going to say I like the frame again.
I think looking to the right may have been the issue there, or maybe just some forward momentum. Hard to say.
I've never liked that ESC.
I've gotten it fast maybe a handful of times. Usually it's like 2 or 3 tries, if not more.
Gap has now closed a bit for Tapir. I'd say Smich is maybe a minute and a half ahead now.
Mm-hmm. Tapir playing it safe.
Did Tapir do the slide here last time? I can't remember.
Nah, they both ran.
No, I meant between the third and fourth terminal.
Oh, no, I think they both went for wind bombs. But
Both went for wind bombs? Okay.
Yeah.
Smich with a very nice wind bomb. That is super precise. Very well played.
Nice.
Couple pumps and very nicely done for him. Clean jump through the malice as well. Doesn't even get the step up animation.
I'm just tanking the damage there.
Yeah, exactly. Here, very nice ESC this run compared to the last one.
Yeah.
Breathing down the neck of Smich.
Alright, so Smich starts the stasis counter a little bit early, one hit, and then waiting to the last ding to
Ooh, he actually goes a little early, which is what I thought he might have. It's just slightly awkward to back up. He basically is to full power it.
Yeah. Probably.
Oh, he does opt for the... Yeah, okay. This means you don't have to hit it as many times.
That's smart. Tapir getting his midair as well, but getting an awkward and low angle, so he's going to need to back it up. Doing a square first instead.
This massively closes the gap though, which is not good for Smich because he's really meant to be ahead of this part of a run.
Yeah.
This is an interesting backup. I didn't know that could give you enough power to do it.
I didn't know it existed until just now.
It does feel slight though, is the only thing to keep in mind with it.
Yeah.
Tapir not opting for the pre-stasis. He does it at a bit safer of a timing.
Yeah, because he needs to get these ice arrows.
He timed that swing so nicely. That was really satisfying. He wasn't even looking at it.
Yeah.
That looked really weird.
It looked like it went underground.
It did go underground, I think. It's pretty like, yeah.
That was a first.
It has body and soul as well, just like Link, yeah.
I'm going to call that a first framer Tapir. GG. Any earlier than that, it might not have worked. Alright, nice RNG for Smich on the Windblight fight. Nice position. He didn't turn the camera, so he's going to get some tornadoes right now, which is not bad necessarily, but one could hit him and slow him down. Oh, he did. Okay. And tornado did zap him.
Ooh, Tapir whiffing a shot. Smich also having issues.
Yeah,
Both of them pretty much losing equal time here to that.
Yeah, Smich shot him in the head while he was on the ground, which made him get up too fast, and he couldn't finish him off. So he got an extra void there.
Yeah, I'd say Tapir is slightly favoured off of the early game, but not massively.
And we'll see a little bit of advantage tick up here once Smich has to go get the clothes.
Yeah, that's the majority of Smich's detour is getting the Gerudo Claves and that cutscene. I'm going to check the timing of when Smich gets the bow, just for reference. And again, it's like 2 minutes ahead of the last run.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 33:48, I would say.
Alright. Now we're making the long BLSS path around the mountains and into Gerudo.
And that's a 20-second difference. I swear it was an exact 20-second difference last run. If you're actually having issues with the bomb rolling past him, you need to position Link's body to make sure that doesn't happen. Unfortunately, there's a little bit of a gap for it to slide through.
Yeah, so we skip time of day and the weather cycle by going out the side of the Shrine of Resurrection, but there's still a bit of wind RNG for some reason. So sometimes there's no wind at all. Sometimes it's pushing to the left or the right. So you have to kind of feel it out as you're running over and decide where to position yourself. So Smich has to kind of bank hard to the right now by flicking that direction and turning the camera around to the right so that Link builds up momentum that direction.
Tapir scares me because if you hit a tree here, you could definitely lose a lot of time.
Oh, yeah.
But he's very confident, and if you take it wider, then the trees are a bit lower, which is what he did this run. But the first run, he went like perfectly between two trees. Oh my god.
It looks like
I'm curious how the timing between these balances out, because Tapir's is a more direct line, but he has to slow down a lot more to swing this corner.
Yeah, I think the theory that people were talking about was you intentionally speed cap and then build up speed, but I'm not sure what ends up being quicker.
That would work. But yeah, you saw Tapir actually slow down a lot to swing that corner, so I don't know what would be quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should see Tapir pull ahead here.
Because
Smich has about 2 minutes, 2 and a bit minutes of stuff here.
Mm.
Doesn't get a super either. It's really hard to get a super there without VR. The mid-air is not too slow though. I think the mid-air is just as quick as setting up VR, and the super back from Karakara is way easier.
I kind of just opt to go for a mid-air, like not even bother with the super.
I think I had a turn which was really good here actually, but I can't remember. I need to look at my old runs.
Mm. It's a very tight window for a super launch.
Yeah, exactly. You cannot generate a lot of lag in this area.
Mm-hmm. And you can also get too much and speed cat or
yeah,
lag
exactly. Ooh,
then...
that was. I don't know why I was scared of Tapir almost like clipping the edge and dying, but he has fairy, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So another thing that I'm curious about with this close skip is, at least in old routing, if you entered the throne room before Riju and Bularia had spawned in, you can soft lock. And it looks like they kind of just ignore that and hope that it works. So I wonder how consistent this is to avoid the soft lock. Never had a soft lock with the campfire? Okay. So maybe the campfire glitch and like the load screen makes it fine. So that's good.
But yeah, you can see quite how far ahead Tapir is now. I don't know if there's any more time saves Smich has over him.
Yeah, so he'll lose a little time to getting kicked out here, and then another...
Oh yeah, there's the kick out before. Yeah, the second kick out was massive actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Smich still needs to buy arrows and stuff.
Yeah, it's after the second kick out, Nomin. I think they will be properly synced up.
All right, so I had to reload. Did Tapir get caught again?
I think he did. I think the wind bomb he went a bit too far left and he's been grabbed by the cutscene.
Oh boy, that's unfortunate.
Which, given how long it took to pull him here, that's actually quite a lot.
It looks like you gotta be very careful.
There's a bomb on the floor as well. That's another 6 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
That's closed the gap a lot, to be honest. That's like a minute he's been here. Does get the super launch there, which is good. And last time Tapir did get better BTBs as well. They were perfectly synced here last time, weren't they? Ooh, that's a mistake. That's unfortunate for him. You just have to go away and come back to reset their positions. If you try reload, it can be really awkward. With that, Smich actually pulling ahead again.
Yep.
So it was quite a big gap, but even like a couple things going wrong can completely close it.
Yep.
Interesting lineup. This is different to the lineup I used to do.
So since a lot of people are probably maybe newer to watching Breath of the Wild runs, they may not see many BTBs these days. Do you want to explain a little bit about what's going on there?
Just commenting on these ones, I think Smich's bullet time was a lot better that time. And that actually looks really good for him. They look left to avoid warlords.
Okay.
Bullet time bounces, they've sort of been... Someone's beeping their horn outside my window. Where was I?
What's a BTB?
A bullet time bounce. A BTV is basically something weird with ragdoll physics, where when you collide with an enemy and then leave bullet time, it like multiplies your speed by 20 times, like the speed you'd get from bouncing off that enemy's ragdoll. Smich actually having a big mistake there. I don't know how he backs this up. If I was him, I would just save load right now. It might be okay.
Yeah, looks
But
like
that Tapir pulls ahead again.
You can let them.
But basically, it's a very good way of high speed carrying yourself around the map. It has its limitations where you need enemies to be around, and you basically, it's a very precise trick as well.
And the moblin is not responding at all.
No,
Oh.
someone's broke his moblin.
Okay, well.
Can't reload save with IST. That's true.
Yeah.
Which means Smich might have issues, and he might have to restart his game now.
Yeah. So this is a weird issue. So most inventory items can duplicate with no issues when you do IST, except for champions abilities. If you save and reload, it duplicates them, and it, I guess, adds too many of them into your inventory or something. I'm not really sure we quite
Did we
understand why.
inform him? I don't know what the situation is here.
He's either gonna have to close his game or he's gonna have to like run.
He has, but he has to go back to that save, because if he saves now, he'll still be duped.
Yeah, he'll have to do it at some other time. Anyway, but yeah, champions abilities, when they get duplicated, they just disappear from your inventory or from your like availability, and the only way to fix it is to close the game, which is obviously a large time loss, which Speech
Yeah,
can't really
I
afford
think
right now.
I just put a message in the chat because I don't know what else we do here.
It's
Can you finish the run without it?
Oh yeah. You can finish the run without it. You just won't have gales.
Oh, okay. In which
That's
case, I'm not sure that's worth bringing up.
Yeah.
And that's going to lose him a lot of time throughout the run. Yeah, I think there's issues with the stream feed. I'm going to pull that up real quick. As if I can do anything. But I'm going to have a look anyway, just to see if it's still bad.
Mine's working okay.
Yeah, it's fine in my restream window, but apparently the stream it's dropped.
Oh, interesting. So I just noticed that Tapir has over 5,000 ancient arrows, so his durability is maybe getting applied from the royal bow onto ancient arrows, and maybe claymore onto shock, I guess. But either way, like the total doesn't really matter very much. And nice one cycle there in the third phase. Nice. Exactly crazy.
Alright, the stream seems to be alive again. Perfect. Thank you, Cub. Still, this is now a very hard race for Smich. Since Tapir does lose some time after warping back, but...
Mm-hmm.
Does anything else dupe when you do that, or is it literally just the key items?
In that circumstance, it's gonna dupe some of his minor items, but it's not a big deal.
Okay.
And spirit orbs too, so it's not a big deal. And it shouldn't affect furies or other abilities after this.
I don't think he does, but I don't think I should tell him. I feel like that's technically interfering.
You would need a Gale technically to do the newer Ruta, but
yeah, you might have to do old Ruta.
Right. Or do Tapir's routing of it, which I'm not sure Smich knows how to do. Probably just save
along with that square first win bomb after the map, you mean, or?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's probably just best to do the old stuff. Yeah, they are important. Alright, Tapir making his way to his VLSS spot, which I might check that out sometime. It looks a bit easier and it's closer too. At least fairly certain. Pep OG.
At least, yeah. I think he's probably aware. If he's not, he will be shortly because you use your first gale pretty early into Boris.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what he could have done there. Well, I guess his only answer to his Moblin issue was to just... Okay, there you go. He's saving.
He has
closing the
restarted
game.
his game, but...
Yeah, he's saving, closing the game to fix it.
But the dupe's already happened, so...
Oh, it
I
fixes
don't think
it.
you get your... Does it? Does it give you your champion abilities back?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's an easy fix. It just sucks. So it loses more time there, but we'll see how it plays out. So that's kind of the unfortunate thing about this IST trick, is if something really does go wrong, you don't really have the option of resetting unless you want to kind of kill your run.
Yeah, exactly. It's really not ideal for him. Okay, so yeah, he does get his champion ability back.
Yeah. Nope, just close the game.
This is still a pretty major lead for Tapir now, though.
Yeah, I guess Smich's only solution there would have been to wind bomb and despawn the enemies, because it was just ignoring his shots, and I'm not really sure why. All right, so here is our kick out. Just as Smich is getting to town.
Nice super for Tapir.
No issues with getting caught this time, which probably there's no issue. Oh,
Ooh, that's
Link.
unfortunate.
Link. My dude. He loves doing that. He loves to just yeet himself off of ledges like that. I felt that one in my soul. So a little bit more of an advantage for Smich there. Unfortunate time loss. Make things a bit more interesting.
Smich does get the super launch that time.
Yeah.
You always want to push it slightly further to the right, the initial launch, because it's easier to push it to the left, to the right here when you're mid-flight.
Right.
But that was still very nice for Smich. Closes the gap a tiny bit. It's got a lot of work to do, but the gap is closed a bit with that slight drop from Tapir. They're fighting for a game 3 here. If Smich secures this race, then he takes the Series 2A. It's the current state of play.
Alright, we're banking to the left and moving our way to a wind bomb spot to get to a BLSS spot. This one from Tapir. You gotta be very careful to press B here to cancel this question. You're choosing the keep up the fight, I think, is what it says. If you say the first option, then you start over and you lose a lot of time.
Yeah, that's a really annoying one to mess up because it's like 13 text boxes you mastering.
Right.
Yeah, and then all of that, yeah. Nice slide for Tapir.
He's doing the front foot. Okay. You did that.
I think it's fine.
You did that in
Everyone's-
the slightly wrong order, but it ended up being okay.
Is there a logic between the
Well, if you hit the back 3 feet, then they will be blown up, so you can hit the forward foot last, which won't move.
okay.
If you do one of the other ones last, it could be moving as you fall out of bullet
Sure.
time, and then you'll get pulled into the "you're going to get electrocuted" cutscene as it walks away.
Right, okay, I see.
There you go. Spot.
Interesting.
There we go.
Very nicely done.
Yeah, we're one kind of critical error away from getting synced up again, so Tapir's got to play it pretty tight here to make sure that to stay ahead, and Smich needs to execute pretty well in hopes that some mistake happens along the way on the other side.
Yeah, I don't think there's any differences left between the routes, so it is purely down to can Smich gain a minute just out of movement over Tapir, which is a very hard thing to do because Tapir does not drop a lot of time generally. But anything can happen in races.
Yeah, that's right. Alright, so we're doing our neck trick again, where we use the function of the duplex bow to shoot this terminal twice. And climbing up that thing has a weird texture on it, so you kind of hop up the side of it.
Ooh!
How did that work? Oh my
That
god!
is... If he dropped that as well, he's actually behind Smich by quite a lot.
How did that work? Let's go.
Surprised he didn't clip that one. It's probably in fear. We all audibly gasped, I think. That was crazy.
Okay, surely everything will be fine on Switch's side with this.
Don't say that.
Okay, nice and calm and collected. There we go.
I'm almost disappointed. That was way too composed. Almost gets stuck in the head, but just gets it right.
Yep. It's kind of an awkward exit because you actually want to walk. If you try to sprint, he'll kind of stumble and get stuck. So it's the instinct is to get out fast, but you actually just want to gently walk out and glide away. Alright, so here's where those gales come in handy. Technically, Smich could have continued here without them. I'm not... It would probably even out to be about even, doing this, doing Ruta.
Yeah, I think it's a
Udania,
lot of comfort, though. You really don't want to be improvising a race run.
Exactly. But yeah, evening out to being a lot slower and closing the game, but comfort does go a long way, like you said. Alright, so using the platforms cleverly to hop in this window, reach this cycle. You gotta be very careful to not accidentally climb the rotating thing or you might get stuck.
Ooh, slight issue with a clip. This could... No, he does get it second try.
Good backup.
You can just make it here if it's in that position. And then sign the thing puts it back to its original spot. So that's only a 5-second swing there. There's been a couple swings in Smich's favour here, though. Tapir's had a few small time losses. So you gotta break the shield, and then you jump onto this little pedestal and just take the headshots. quickest way of doing phase 1. And because this is the second boss you're doing, he just melts.
Yep.
Especially because you're like guaranteed the hits. Smich also having issues with the clip, so this could actually be very unfortunate for him.
Second try.
Gets it, but he loses the height, but it's okay because of where the cage is.
Yeah.
Stai attento a quei furi.
That was still slightly better for Tapir than for Smich, right?
Small detail, maybe people have missed just in these runs, but in their casual play, but you can block electric attacks with a wooden shield, so it's RNG whether or not Thunderblight throws an electric attack at you, or if he attacks or flurry rushes right away. So if he does the electric attack, you can just block it instead of...
Yeah, it's an annoying time loss, but it's not the biggest deal.
Yeah.
So I just gotta hope he doesn't land on the upper platform, because that's when he gets awkward. Thankfully he does not. Doesn't get headshots, but 3 shots is still fine. And I'm gonna time based on... Okay, so that's 56-17 for Tapir on the getting of your Burster's Fury. In my head, this cutscene takes about a minute, but we will see. And then, yeah, we'll see Tapir heading to Sora Domain in the meantime.
Mm-hmm. The Smich nipping at his heels.
Exactly. This is far from a done deal by any stretch of the imagination. So it was 56-17, and this is a... 56-58, so that's a 41-second lead for Tapir right now.
Nice. So could come down to things like Ruta 1 cycle or Yunobo skip.
Yeah, exactly. Literally anything like that could swing the run, like we saw last run.
Yeah.
Even just this slide, we saw Tapir getting better slide speeds earlier, so we could actually pull the lead a bit further. His Zora's Domain was a lot quicker just because of that and the mashing. And he keeps himself on a pretty good speed. You see him doing these slow wiggles, just so he sort of maintains this very high speed.
Yeah, and controlling his direction too.
Exactly.
Oh no. Speed cap for Smich again.
That's unfortunate. And this will be working in Tapir's favor right now.
Yeah.
Smich's poor wrists, dude.
Yeah, Tapir has a much better...
There is a
sight
Zora's Domain down there somewhere, believe it or not.
Yeah. So you can kind of use the shrine as a cube where the stairs are.
Yeah, the shrine and the goddess statue.
Yeah. So he's there now.
It's a very fast load. This looks hilarious.
Huh.
I haven't seen it that unloaded before, but maybe that's just a common thing with this route.
So sometimes there's nothing, sometimes it's just King Zora, but I haven't seen all 3 characters there with no throne room.
It's quite menacing, isn't it?
Yeah. Smich had some issues with his BTB to Gerudo and had to save and reload, which he speed capped again, which it messed up his champion's ability, so he had to save and reload. So bad luck, coupled with a couple of minor mistakes. And we are grabbing random textures, but we found our spot pretty nicely. And
Smich now has to wait for Dolphin Man to load in.
He didn't get the A press. Oh, he's got to skip the cutscene. Smich. Did he go to the bathroom? Oh no, he might have gone to the bathroom. Or okay.
Maybe it's a minute, who knows?
I'm not sure. Right, getting the Zora armor.
1 hour 22 seconds for Tapir.
122.
See if I remember that.
Yeah, those 2 speed caps are.
I think the gap will have widened a fair amount. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, ragdoll fixed.
Interesting.
Where do you get ragdoll?
I guess he doesn't fix the Naboris one until now. Interesting.
Yeah, so Smich would have been getting armor now if he'd been equal on time. Yeah, so we lost another 36 seconds there.
Okay.
Which puts Smich at about a minute and... a minute 30 behind or so.
Okay. So a bit of bad luck there. But we'll still be looking for both runners to execute the rest of the run well and see if Tapir can maintain that lead. There are a few things that can still go
exactly.
wrong.
There's still like this race is far from over, but
Yeah.
I don't think there's any one mistake Tapir could make that would cost him to be behind Smich. Now it comes down to a lot of things.
Well, he could suddenly start doing the hundo route. Maybe he'll.
Yeah, I mean that would be a pretty cataclysmic mistake, but it could happen.
If he picks up some Koroks and heads to a Kala, we'll know something's wrong. Now we're watching behind Link here to see the weird transportation of Muzu and Sidon behind Link. Just right here as they show Link's face. And there's Muzu. Skip the cutscene. And there's Muzu and Sidon. Oh, no, they're gone. Never mind. Alright. Tapir getting his cryo rune ready and shock arrows. Game requires you to have 20 shock arrows here to continue. I think 4,000 shock arrows is just enough.
Oh, that's good. Alright, the run picks up again soon. This is definitely the lull patch.
Yep. A lot of cutscenes, a lot of mashing.
Yep.
It's an endurance match on your mashing fingers. It's my favorite part of the run, I promise. Let's see if Tapir can get this one cycle again. He had a very quick one last time. So, quick knockdown, shock arrow. I'm trying to aim at the top rim of this cage thing.
Exactly, it's for timing and the decision.
Got it.
Which he gets both of very nicely.
And you want to delay it to the last moment too, because if you hit it too early, Sidon will turn around and leave. So you have to
exactly.
Time it just right. Nice job,
And it's definitely
Tapir.
an awkward thing if you drop the one cycle.
Mm-hmm. And the backup, if you don't get it, is shoot 2 and drop, because if you...
We shoot the third, yeah, he shoots 10 ice things at you or something.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think that you have enough stamina to make that work. Because another thing that happens once you shoot him from below, or from the air, is that it pushes Link down pretty hard. So like it's like the game trying to prevent this one cycle kind of organically. All right, let's go Smich. That should work. Got it.
Yep, beautiful. Now we see Smich taking the other 3 shots. Feels a bit low, but I think he's fine. Yeah, he's chilling, he's chilling.
All right, nice. He might have been a bit close to bonking the...
Yeah, the like force field thing.
Mm-hmm. All right, Tapir moving into Ruta.
Yeah, we've seen his route before, where he instant gales up to the right here.
Mm-hmm.
Does he miss a cycle? No, okay. For some reason I thought the stand thing in the middle was the shrine terminal.
Right.
It was not. Things are fine.
So he kind of opts to shoot the Malice Eye.
Oh, I see how you could fall down there, actually. That's quite an awkward jump.
Yeah, I go with the left side instead. It drops the coggers here.
Yeah. Is that high enough? He's going to struggle to get onto the platform is his issue here. Yeah, he has to get out and in again. It's unfortunate, but the cycles here don't really matter now that he's done that 5th terminal first. In my head, that's just 5th terminal. A nice jump back across. That does lower the gap a little, though.
Let's see if Tapir remembers to pause a bit before moving the neck, because you have to let that position in number 2 move the central cog a bit before moving on.
Right, so far so good for Smich. He'll be hoping he doesn't fall into the water again this time. That was something he lost a bit of time on last run. That looks very nice. Ooh. It's actually a little scary. Tapir, good first wind bomb up to the trunk. Not the trunk, the anti-trunk. And if you go all the way to that end bit, your bomb should despawn. If you land like on the back bit, like just a bit lower, then your bomb will... You'll have to manually detonate it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a distance.
It's something that can catch people out to begin with, but yeah.
Yeah. Alright, so he went through that pretty quickly. Let's see where the central position is.
Issue for him was the cogs, but the time it spends moving was... the central thing only moves when you're in 2nd position, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't look... Wait, no, it does look blue. I think you might be okay. He actually full sends. That's very...
Just right. Perfect.
Technically, you could save more time if you just believed in your setup, but that's a scary thing to do, because if you get it wrong,
Yeah.
you're losing a lot of time there.
Yeah.
So yeah, Smich opts to land a bit earlier, and I think he manually detonated his square.
Okay.
And because this spot's slightly low, you have to do a delayed 2nd bomb as well, just to get the height to make it up to 2nd position.
Right. You call that a max height wind bomb?
Yeah, exactly. It's what we do for the tree wind bomb up to stasis on plateau as well. Tapir with a nice phase 1. Still has a pretty sizable lead.
for a little swim first before we take on phase 2. Nice job.
Smich opting for this strat again.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's aware of if he's behind, because I feel like he'd be sending a bit more, but playing a safe race isn't a bad strat, even if you are aware you're behind.
That's true. And that square first one is far from free. It can either go too high or just fail outright.
Yeah, exactly. Square first timings are a lot tighter, generally.
Yeah. Alright, you're gonna see Tapir waiting until now to swap his bows. Oh, maybe not. I've seen people wait until there to kind of force the waterfall to load, but it looks like he got a pretty quick one. I think ideally you drift more to the center so that you have a shorter distance to cover to get to the BLSS spot, but it's not that big a deal. It's fairly close.
They're having issues with the slide setup this time.
Yeah, it's interesting. The spot I go for is a lot closer to where like the sunlight meets the shadow on the rock. They're opting for something much further right than what I'm used to
They're
seeing.
having issues with the wind here.
Oh yeah, the wind here can be very punishing. It's not a good time. There you go. Oh dear.
Smich speed capping there by the looks of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's an
It's rough for
issue
him.
issue for wind bombs in Zora's domain. Very laggy area.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that one was just his turn was a bit too fast.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's waiting for the waterfall to load in, which he gets eventually.
Tapir making sure to get a good steer around the hills here. Kind of bend carefully into town, which can be a bit tricky sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. We saw Smich had issues with it last time. We got caught on that signpost and had to do that mid-air backup.
I don't know if that bounce off that hill was intentional or not. That's not typically.
It wasn't the worst, but yeah.
It looked good.
Probably went a little faster than he intended.
Yeah. Oh. All right. Good recovery there from Smich.
Yeah, he's still pretty far behind, but never say never in these races.
Exactly. Tapir still has to nail that Yunobo skip, which he very smartly last run didn't get a good launch and stopped. They would do a backup and had no issues the second try. And we're going for a nice refreshing dip in the lava first.
Yeah.
Which I totally understand.
Okay, Smich trying to swing this corner as hard as you can. You kind of want to... He dodges that rock so well. Yeah, aiming diagonally back is nice because you sort of slow down and steer yourself, sort of, because it's like a curved route.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was really nicely done from Smich. And that does narrow the gap a fair bit, to be fair.
That looks pretty good.
That's an interesting spot to land. I don't think he intended that. Where does he jump into lava? That's not part of your route.
No.
That's not nice, because this backup clip can be really awkward, and I don't know if he has skew still.
That was just a mistake, Liam.
Oh, he just cleared it. Well, he didn't clear it. Okay.
And we had the...
This is very unfortunate for Tapir.
Yep. Gotta be very careful here. Oh no.
Ooh, this is
Oh,
starting to get
we got a soul clip.
Yeah. I haven't seen one of those in so long, dude.
We got the soul clip.
Tapir's even clipped it, dude.
All right. Well,
I love those, dude.
good composure.
Yeah, I'm saying, it looked like the right frame. He also just been in a weird spot, but no, it worked out for him. Instantly blows himself up, so you don't have to worry about the ragdoll for the wind bomb back.
So to kind of explain what happened there, so to get into that rock wall, you need to do an extended shield clip, which means two consecutive shield clips back to back on a specific frame. No, game, please.
Oh god, okay. I suppose that's only fair, but at the same time, that's quite sad.
Smich needed that. That's too bad. But there's kind of a difference, like the way the game handles Link's physics is he has like a physical body and he also has his coordinates. And sometimes those things can get separated by either speed or shield clips sometimes. So he clipped in with his soul, quote unquote, his coordinates, but his body didn't. So in an attempt to pull the two back together, it just pulled Tapir into the rock wall. So that's something that happened there. Oh, and Smich wasn't able to get his wind bomb off before he started burning, so the wind bomb went nowhere. And I think he also didn't clear ragdoll, so he didn't get launched either. So
yeah, that was a very dead wind bomb, basically.
Yeah.
Both our runners having solid clips there, so everyone doesn't affect the state of the run too much. Didn't get the super there. Most people look off to the left slightly, and I don't know if it's because of the restream, but I didn't see lag there, so I don't know.
I didn't see any either.
Also the Falcon Burst, you can quickly snipe these two. Looks like he dropped one, which is unfortunate.
Oh yeah, he missed.
Which means I think he gets an extra cutscene, but I can't remember.
Yeah, it looked like it. Which I kind of wonder, like, if you shoot them from far away, you drop down to the ground where you were and have to run. Is it really worth it to not get closer? I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
exactly.
I'm sure someone's timed and worked that out.
Oh, Smich actually missing the glider pull.
That is indeed a carving of Daruk.
Yeah, there's a bunch of Gorons out there, but Daruk is the big one.
Yeah, I think probably Darmani from Ocarina of Time is one of them as well.
I thought they were just generic Gorons, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. Alright, Tapir starting the cutscene at 19 flat.
Yeah. I can't actually tell how far. I forget how long the section takes. Smich, I feel like Smich is closer than I thought he was, but we will see. I guess this cutscene here is quite long, actually.
Yeah.
It's looking like about a minute anyway.
Roughly. I'm doing a circle first. Interesting.
Square first, yeah.
Square first, yes.
That means you had to spend less time falling, but
Right.
yeah.
Harder to do.
Yeah, it's harder to do, and you'll go a bit slower as well.
52 seconds or so.
Ideally, you do a really low turn and just like land in the trigger, like get yourself like a near horizontal launch.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of like World Wind Bomb to tree.
So we have to avoid whistle sprinting here because that makes Yunobo stop and
Yeah, exactly.
and avoid losing Yunobo because he runs too slowly to even keep up with you, just like running normally. And we're using ancient arrows to take these guys out in one shot, which they have an interesting damage drop table. Those
Yeah,
sentries.
they're weird. Some things they'll just take no damage probably, and some things they'll just melt like butter.
Even like elemental arrows with Great Eagle Bow and attack up, it doesn't kill them outside of like 4 shots. So
Yeah.
they got a lot of energy, and yet can be taken down with 2 bombs.
Is that the same for like the guardians around Hyrule Castle, or is that different?
They get 1 shot by ancient arrows or bombs.
Yeah, but do they have the same bomb and like magnesis weakness or not?
No, they don't get.
That's just specifically for these guys.
Yeah, it's for whatever reason bombs are good against them because I guess devs assumed you might do that from.
It's just for the sake of this quest because they only exist in this quest.
Yeah. And they also get killed by a rock, like if they brush against one of those boulders by pushing it or launching it on top of them, they die instantly. Which, I guess maybe some enemies have more of a crushing damage calculator as well. I don't know. Or a blunt force damage. So they have a wooden bow equipped, but they are constantly taking it out and putting it away before it breaks. There is a timer on weapons that burn, and they can burn for a while, but they're not actually getting damaged until the game says it's damaged or it just burns up.
Yeah, exactly. Like the first tick of damage and the animation of them catching fire are pretty far apart.
Yeah, so they just take it out, put it away, take it out, put it away. So to get fairies near the start of the run, they did an inventory corruption glitch, which specifically for this run, they get around 4,000 ancient arrows and a few hundred fairies.
Yep.
So it's complicated to explain without seeing it, but essentially what they do is they corrupt the inventory and duplicate a bunch of items, specifically fairies and ancient arrows, and on Tapir's side, shock arrows as well, because he did a slightly different route.
Yeah, precisely.
It's called.
It's not really something you can do in your casual run because of the sheer amount of items you have. They require very specific setups.
Yeah. So if you want to know more about it, just Google Breath of the Wild inventory slot transfer, and it'll give you some more information.
Exactly.
Or
IS double shots, but it doesn't massively matter because Unibe's well behind them. As long as you take out these guys before Unibe gets in range, you're basically smooth sailing.
Yeah. Good job by Tapir, taking out all those sentries.
Yep, he's all but done with the escort now. Just needs to do the final shot.
About 10 seconds. But you can play it a bit risky and let it burn for a bit if you're comfortable, but you can also tap like mash ZR and R alternatingly to take out a weapon and take out the bow, which cancels each other. That's what I do, and it doesn't really waste any time because you need to run slowly enough for Yunobo to follow you anyway. And you can also just keep a metal bow equipped until it's time to shoot stuff as well. That's a good strategy for beginners. That's a good question, Crazy. So in the previous run, Tapir used a Fury against Fireblight, which ended up being the deciding factor in the first race. If he hadn't done that, then he would have won. So we're going to keep an eye on the boss fight here in a few minutes to see what he does with that.
Yeah, exactly. Because barring something cataclysmic, Tapir has such a big lead at this point.
Yeah.
We did see him drop a BLSS earlier, like something like that could level the playing field a bit, but that's kind of like pipe dreams for Smich right now.
And you're seeing Tapir in the dark, like going for some pretty specific setups for where to shoot arrows. You're using the bow to shoot one blue flame onto this torch, and then through a guardian with a duplex bow into another torch to open the next door. Take out these guys as well. And if you're ever doing this run and you forget where your visual cues are, a good trick here is to watch this cutscene carefully, because you can see the torches now and kind of remind yourself of where those visual cues are. But there's some malice there that cues you in on where they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Very conveniently.
Bravo! Ora qua per riconquistare.
Tapir coming up on the trick shot. Has his Falcon bow, so should be fine. Smitch's duplex bow shot looks to have dropped. Yeah, I was worried about that.
He missed again.
It's a bit awkward. You aim for the center of a guardian, but if your position you're standing in is slightly off, then you will be a bit far left or right.
Oh, he missed again. Oh no. Yeah, he didn't have Falcon bow equipped there. I'm not sure.
Oh
That
yeah,
was
that's probably it.
intentional. Oh no, he missed again. That's not good. This is
I'm surprised that one failed.
yeah, I'm a bit surprised too. Okay, there we go.
That has closed the gap a little though. We may still have a race on our hands.
A little bit closer.
Courtesy of Crazy AZ. Shoutouts to Crazy AZ in the chat. It's still a good 35-second lead for Smich, if I were to guess.
Oh, the block might be blocking, literally, no pun intended.
I get it.
Tapir
Good one.
from
I would use the Discord laugh track now if I could, but I feel like I shouldn't.
It wasn't intentional, I promise. Okay, all right, he was fine. He was fine.
Yeah, he's alright. 118. No, sorry, 128.21 to pick up that one.
Okay. Looks like, oh, we got a quick thing. So it's kind of awkward when that happens, if the cutscene triggers when you're trying to set up this crouch through the hole. You have to like kind of like flip the camera around and try again. Is that? Yes, it's fine. Sorry, my my OCD, which is kicking in slightly when I see someone do something slightly different than what I do. I'm like, wait, that's wrong.
That's illegal. You can't do that. So there's about 30 seconds in it right now, is what I'm seeing.
Yeah, exactly, Rebecca. You have to get the backup normals.
Yeah, there are a few more just around the corner, like to the right of where you do that shot, but if you're grabbing those, then something's gone horrifically wrong in your run.
Yep.
Let's come back and boss fight, and we'll now see Tapir's phase 2. What will he do? That is the question. I think he's just going to do the Fury again, personally.
You got a bomb ready.
You got a bomb ready?
Oh, you got the
Nope.
Fury.
He's Furying it. I respect it.
He's going for it.
And that does pull him slightly further ahead here as well.
Let's go. All right, well that means that Tapir cannot miss any headshots in phase 2 of Calamity. or we'll have
Else you risk dropping a bit of time, yeah. Because at
Yep.
that point you have to go for a flurry, ideally, would be the quickest way of finishing the fight.
Yep.
What's the best weapon you have? I guess you have the Claymore.
Yeah, you do. It played into the deciding factor of the last race, is what we're talking about.
Link. Link. Grazie per aver recuperato tutti i colossi sacri e liberato gli spiriti dei campioni. Ora staranno aspettando il momento della tua battaglia contro Ganon al castello di Hyrule. E poi anche io ti aspetto.
All right, making sure to equip that metal bow.
Yep. Looking good for Tapir. Initial launch is fine. It can be a bit finicky, that corner.
True.
Swings the corner. You want to have like enough speed that you can like you get there quickly, but not so much that it becomes tricky that you swing too far out, because you want to take a nice precise line here to castle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely possible to build up too much speed.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of one of those things you get a feel for the more runs you do. And yeah, again, we see Tapir going into castle. Loads will be a factor here in how much of a lead he has.
Oh, instant load. Nice. Much better.
Yeah,
than
that's really good for Tapir. And his loads to castle weren't perfect, but they weren't too bad. Smich has looked pretty good in terms of castle loads. Let's see what happens here.
He's getting a very long fight load, though. Okay, another quick one. Let's see what that means. Yeah, he's getting a long fight one as well. Alright, now very carefully.
2, 3, can you get the 4? He does get the 4 the first time. Looks like he's... I don't want to say anything completely. Body shots would do it. Okay.
Very good. Very
Does get it.
There you go.
Good job.
All right. Good job, Tapir. Not bad.
Something would have to go horrifically wrong for him to not win this race now.
Yeah.
Because he can't even die in this fight. He'd have to like run out of... He had to greed for not bow of light, then run out of ancient arrows.
Exactly. Smich takes it down Calamity as well.
Or like his controller dies or something. That'd be the most Tapir way to lose a race, dude.
Don't tell him we said that, though.
No. There's no, like, video evidence. Hey, this is live.
Oh no. Oh no.
Anyway.
Alright. Tapir opting
Tapir once again opting to, skip the Royal Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Royal Bay.
Bow leg.
He is quite royal.
Yeah, he still has that royal bow. Nice shots from Tapir, and still has a little bit of durability on the Great Eagle bow.
Oh, we're getting a third race, dude.
Yeah. Which, makes sense. These are both talented runners. It's really just down to a swing of maybe a bit of RNG or bad luck between the two of them.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, if Smich doesn't have that IST issue with the BTB, this is a really close race.
Yeah. Definitely a big deciding factor there. GG here.
Yep, GG is a solid race. What was the end time of last race? Let me pull that up real quick.
It was a 1:37, so about a minute or so faster.
Okay. Yeah, I think most of that was just plateau differences, but also I noticed less massive mistakes in the runs this time.
Yeah. So a final time of 1:35.01 officially. Or unofficially if you were regularly timed.
Yeah.
GG. 30-second difference.
Yeah, very solid performance from Smich. Performed a great effort despite the slightly rough mid game he had.
Good job pulling it together after the issue with the IST, duplicating the gales.
Yeah, exactly. That was always going to be tricky for him to back up. And the amount of time he lost just trying to set that BTB up again before he did that.
Exactly.
Anyway, we go to a game 3, which I kind of expected going into this, to be honest, but
Yep.
I'm sure his Cubs around. Are we going to throw it to a break first?
Yeah, we'll let Cubs handle the behind the scenes.
We are figuring that. It looks like actually, well, looks like we're gonna do game 3 tomorrow.
Ah,
I didn't know
Right,
that was
but-
possible.
well, yeah, because Smich is short on time, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna see if we can get them both in for an interview for tonight, for after these first two. But we'll see what happens. Yeah, it looks like sometime tomorrow. It obviously hasn't been scheduled yet, but game 3 will not be tonight. It will be tomorrow.
Everyone tell your friends to come to the Grand Slam finale between these two top runners.
That's exciting. Welcome in,
Welcome
Tapir.
in. We got Tapir. Welcome in.
Hello.
How's it going? How do you feel about Trick Shot and specifically Crazy AZ for jinxing you?
That was messed up.
I think I got the two setups confused in my head because
okay.
I've been doing Hondo, right? And like
Mhm.
that one requires the other bow. And then I was like, oh no,
Right.
I forgot.
E4.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was a pretty good race, and some nice composure in the first one where kind of the worst case scenario happened with the Boko camp. You want to talk a bit about your decision to go for the axe instead of a save reload?
I just assumed I could also kill the other Boko,
Mm-hmm.
or get his weapon early, so I'm like, doesn't seem too bad, but running is definitely a lot slower than
Yeah.
reloading and just shield surfing, which
We got a good comparison because Smich in was it the second race that we had to reset?
He just had to reload because he grabbed 6 peppers and didn't get the weapon, and he just reloaded.
Right. So it looked a little bit closer off of that. So good science for anybody wondering what to do in those circumstances. Welcome in, Smich.
Hi. Hi.
Welcome in. It's a bit weird having a mid-series interview, but I quite like it, to be honest, because you both have like a day to think about what you do before your final race.
Yeah, we'll be thinking hard.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll be doing so much Breath of the Wild studying
Yeah.
between. Yep.
mm-hmm.
Now, Smich, I've never seen the Moblin just ignore arrow shots like that. What was going through your head when you were
I was
trying to get
thinking-
it back set up again?
Maybe if I shoot one more arrow, it will work.
I can imagine you there for like 20 minutes, like, oh, this one for sure.
Yeah, it's really annoying. I don't know why he wasn't doing that.
Yeah, and did you know straight away that you'd have to do the reboot, or did you notice after Koga?
I noticed afterwards.
Okay.
Otherwise, I would have just saved and then quit the game. I think that would have
Yeah, I
been
was gonna
faster.
say.
Well, you pulled it together pretty nicely after that. Like I could see that shaking someone's concentration a bit, but you did a good job with that.
Thank you.
Yeah, in the end, you still finished 30 seconds behind, which solid races. Both of them were really close, actually. The first one was insane.
Yeah.
Like, you guys differed a bit because you both had like slightly rough plateaus, and Smich with the issue with the mid-air in Castle. But then it kind of synced up around the BTBs to Gerudo Town, and it was just a really close race from there on out.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So I saw that we were synced up in route entry.
I was going to say, did you both have the stream open? Or
At the end.
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I may have played worse because I was kind of watching the stream and not watching my game. I'm like, oh my god, we're like missing a couple things, and then I look over, I'm like, oh, the cutscene ended. Whoops.
That was so rough for you in the first race actually, Tapir, because you did basically have it, and then it was just the didn't quite have the damage to finish Kalam phase 2.
I blame bombs for me losing the first race. I skipped early on the monk.
Yep, that was it.
There's a lot of things you could blame if you go through the run.
I blame bombs.
Okay, sure.
And we were watching really closely for Yonobo because you were about 50, well, a little bit more than that, about a minute apart from each other at that point. And Tapir had the rocks load in your face, and then Smich had the exact same thing happen. So like that was the opportunity.
Yeah, that was like, that would have closed the gap. It's like, oh
So
my god.
annoying.
Yeah.
Tapir's losing time. And then Smich had the exact same thing. It's like, oh, that's so messed up.
Ah, man.
But that's how it goes sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. And your flight to Zora's, man, I felt so bad for you on Smich. It like speed capped twice. I was like, you're part arms, dude.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Are there any,
not very
are
good.
there any strats you guys maybe want to revise or revisit before you head into the last race tomorrow?
Probably not. I might just stick with what I got. Honestly, I did the different terminal orders in Ruta. I never done that before, but I knew about it. But I feel like I have to do it to try and win. And it kind of worked, but then I ended up jumping out the wrong side in the first race.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
wondering what happened there.
Yeah,
Second race, you had it fine though.
yeah. So I don't think I really lost or gained any time because of that.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, it's a nice routing, and you guys both did it pretty well, aside from like a couple tiny things. So that's impressive. You're able to pull it off without much execution or practice prior to. But yeah, I got not much else. Do you have any other questions, Lumina?
Not particularly.
Cool.
Thank you both for the 2 runs, and
You're
good
welcome.
luck in and good luck in your final one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Abs,
Why?
wrap it up.
Why?
I think we're done with the interview.
Oh, man, look at you guys making me work a lot today. God.
I'm sorry.
Well, GG's, both of you. I wasn't really sure how to top game 1, but game 2 came damn close. Looking forward to game 3 tomorrow. We'll get that one on the schedule as soon as you two are able. Keep an eye on said schedule. There's plenty else. I can't even talk at the moment. Plenty other things going on, so just keep an eye out there. Big shout out to comms today, Orcrist and Lumina, for letting me sit here and do nothing for a while. I appreciate y'all. And if you aren't following our runners for some ungodly reason, please go follow Tapir and Smich. What a great show that was put on today. With that, we are going to head out for the moment. Again, keep an eye on the schedule. Game 3 will be up there shortly. Any final thoughts before we head on out for the moment?
Nope.
None from me. No final thoughts.
All
Thank
right.
you.
No problem. Till next time. Thank you very much, everybody. Stay safe. Have a good night. We will see you back here soon. Bye.